2026 Toyota Tacoma, we do have pricing updates and hikes. We do have updates for the 2026 model year. Can you believe it's already been 2 model years? It came out, well, no, this would be the third, right? 24, 25, now 2026. We're on to the third model year of this current generation. And this is kind of fun. You know, we're coming right off of the coattails of the new Hilux. Hilux offering a BEV version, a mild hybrid turbo diesel, a gasoline 2.7 liter engine that we used to see in the Tacoma, the old 2TR engine. And, you know, as much as it is interesting to see the full redesign on the Hilux today, we're focusing on the Tacoma. What's new? Well, let's get into it right away. There's 2 new colors, Heritage Blue and TRD Pro color is the wave maker, kind of like that turquoisey blue color. Heritage Blue is more of a light blue that we've seen in the past, all right? The new wave maker on the TRD Pro model won't be available until March of 2026, but the 26 Tacomas that are not TRD Pro and probably some other trims, they're probably going to have staggered launches like they did when this truck first came out. And even when the Tundra first came out, we had to wait a while for the hybrids, that sort of thing. You're probably going to have to wait a while for certain trim levels, certain specs, all right? But just keep in mind that the initial batches are going to start hitting Toyota dealerships this winter. What does that mean? It could be December, January, February. I made a spreadsheet. I want to share the price hikes for you guys. All right, so destination went up $100. Yippee. There's no way you can get out of that. All right, so that's reflected here. That's also reflected in the pricing here. I added the $100 into the price difference between 25 on the left and 26 on the right. So if we look at the barrier of entry, the entry level SR 4x2 extra cab long wheelbase, long bed, it went up almost $700. It seems to be the only good deal here, and I triple checked this because all the rest of them are $600-700. Seems like the SR5s are going to be your best bang for your buck due to a lack of massive price hikes, only about $115. So really only $15 plus the $100 destination. So this is the best buy that I'm seeing right now, the SR5. Everything else, and I didn't have time, guys, just look how many different configurations there are. I'd be here all day. I can't just copy and paste into the spreadsheet. It doesn't format properly. So I just pick and chose 6 different trim levels here to compare. So on average, they're around $700 price increase, but for whatever reason, the SR5s didn't go up very much at all. So that's the good news. So very little updates, couple new blue colors, one on the TRD Pro, the Heritage Blue, and then here are the price hikes. What else is going on with Toyota? Well, actually some huge news. Toyota's investing $10 billion up to, we'll see. More than likely, they could invest more in the U.S. operations over the next 5 years. Now, while I was in Japan a couple of weeks ago, Trump was there at the same time, trying to work out trade negotiations, trade deals, investments, all that stuff. This will bring the company's total U.S. investment to nearly $60 billion since operating in the U.S. 70 years ago. So this has been the opening ceremony for the North Carolina battery plant. They needed to get this online because they need to supply batteries for the new RAV4. And eventually the plug-in hybrid of the RAV4 as well, because all the plug-in hybrids as of now for the new RAV4 are going to be coming from Japan. They started building this thing in November of 2021, and it's the first Toyota battery plant outside of Japan. This will create 5,100 new jobs. That's great. We don't know exactly what this $10 billion is going to go towards, to be honest, but Automotive News has a little bit more scoop for us to sink our teeth into. Now, since we don't know where this money is going towards, and you have to take whatever the president says with a grain of salt. Sometimes it's dead on, sometimes it's not, right? He was saying while he was in Japan at a U.S. naval base that Toyota was preparing to invest $10 million, so we got that right. But then he went on to say to build plants all over the U.S., But Akio Toyoda, who met Trump at a dinner for business leaders, Akio only talked about general economic and industry topics, not specifics about investing in the U.S. So it's all about he said, she said at this point. Believe who you want, believe what you want. I won't believe what either of them are saying until pen is on the paper. But let's just say that new plants will open in the US. Well, here's the thing, Toyota. You need to open more plants in the US. Not because I'm a homer and of course I love the United States. I love my country. I love the idea of manufacturing. That's one part of it. But from a consumer standpoint, Toyota is manufacturing capped here in the US. They can't produce any more vehicles, and the demand is still through the roof. And we're still short of some vehicles that desperately need to be created for Toyota, such as a small pickup truck to rival the Ford Maverick. It's crickets from Toyota about that truck, and they have nowhere to build it. It has to be built in the United States to avoid chicken tax and tariffs. They don't have any, unless they cancel the Corolla Cross in the plant in Alabama and bring the Corolla Cross in from wherever it's built in Turkey or Japan or wherever else, Southeast Asia, wherever else they build the Corolla Cross. Unless they bring that in and start building that small pickup truck in Alabama, we just don't have the manufacturing capacity. Same thing with the Corolla. Unless they stop building the Corolla in Mississippi and build a new pickup truck there, a small, more affordable pickup truck down in Mississippi, and just import all the Corollas. As a result, Toyota does need more manufacturing here in the United States. Abso-frickin-lutely. Now, what's crazy is that Toyota will be importing vehicles made in the United States into Japan. Like Tundra, Sequoias can make their way over there now. Now, those things are huge for Japanese roads and parking stalls, but that seems to be a possibility with today's reality. All right, so Japan's commitment to accept the sale of U.S. manufactured and U.S. safety certified vehicles without additional testing. This is what needs to happen in the reverse. And the reverse needs to happen as well, meaning we need to start accepting the safety requirements of vehicles made in Japan, vehicles made in Europe, because right now, this is holding the United States back from having a variety of cars. All right, CAFE was a huge stumbling block. Everything had to be huge, massive. I'm reviewing an Expedition today. Everything has to be massive in the United States to kind of skirt around these fuel economy standards. Well, that's put to the curb now, thank God. The other huge hurdle is all these safety regulations and how it has become increasingly expensive to manufacture, design, and develop these vehicles. You might be saying, Kirk, I don't want to get myself into a 4-star or a 3-star or less safety crash rating. Well, here's the thing. It should be up to the consumer to buy a quote-unquote unsafe car. That should be in the consumer's hands, in my opinion. In the United States, you guys know I love motorcycles. They're always in my videos. Here you have this country where you don't even need to ride or wear helmets on a motorcycle in most parts of the country. Meanwhile, you can't buy affordable cars that don't pass safety crash regulations. It's bonkers, it's mind-blowing, and it's too much bureaucracy and red tape to get affordable, smaller, lighter, more efficient cars in the United States. You guys may agree or disagree. I'm totally open for that, but I want more options. And right now, if you want a new car, it's the low 20s. Okay, and that's not a bad place to be, but it is still very expensive for an entry new car. So what are we going to do about it? Well, this is what's exciting. Right at the very bottom, a very reasonable fuel efficiency standard. Secretary of Transportation here in the United States, Sean Duffy, says we're going to have an announcement where you have a very reasonable fuel efficiency standard. Okay, that's good, because if everything has to be electric vehicles, not due to consumer demand, but because of what the government's telling these companies, well, it's just not going to end well for anybody. And I know this sentence doesn't make sense if you read it. I don't know if it's just a typo, but vehicles will get cheaper because standards are going to be lowered. But because of the government shutdown, there hasn't been an announcement, but it is on the horizon, and there's going to be an announcement soon for very reasonable fuel efficiency standard. And when we do that, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to make more cars because of your cars are going to be more cost effective for the American consumer. Okay, well, that's just on fuel economy end of things. But if we can also accept Europe and Japan and other countries' crash test ratings and safety ratings, then we will have a more free market with more options available to the consumer. So stay tuned. If there's some exciting stuff when it comes to regulations here in the United States, I will update you. Let me know if you're excited about this battery plant opening. And last but not least, this just came to mind since we're talking about Tacoma. The Tacoma, they are testing and developing, and who knows if it will come to market. It depends on demand and fuel economy standards and requirements. But Toyota has been developing plug-in hybrids for the Tacoma and the Tundra, but the Tacoma would probably be the first one to the market with a plug-in hybrid. My reservation is that, well, when we go back to pricing, what would a plug-in hybrid cost? An additional $5,000 on top of everything you see here minimum. So it's not, I don't think it'd be very successful as a plug-in hybrid. And I don't see Toyota making an e-Rev where the engine is just a generator. They could if they wanted to, but I don't see it happening. So we'll see if a plug-in hybrid will ever come using the battery packs out of North Carolina that are now being put into production. Anyways, I got into there. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more Toyota updates here on the channel. And I got to get busy. I got 2 reviews I got to crank out. You see a Toyota Crown behind the Honda Grom back there. I got to review that, as well as the Tremor Expedition. There are a lot of pros and cons to that vehicle, and I'm excited to share my impressions on both of those cars that I just mentioned. So stay tuned for those car reviews. Some big Nissan stuff coming in the next month, and then I'll have some big Toyota stuff early part of 2026. Gosh, 2026 already. Time flies. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to hang out with you in the comment section. Peace.